It's the big one, the final race of the season, and it's all to play for. Who will be the 2018 AquaX Pro Enduro Champion? We'll find out in the next hour. Welcome to the final round of the AquaX Pro Tour and the Ribbon Energy Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix. And what a stunning location for this year's grand finale. "2018 has been another crazy, action-packed year for AquaX racers.
The world's best jet ski riders have arrived in Miami for round one of the AquaX Championship.
Had a really good start there, me and Francis. It was close.
What a battle we got. Baldwin on the outside, Lamone on the inside.
Eric Francis opens up his points account for the year. Welcome to the magnificent St. Pete Beach for the Grand Prix of the Gulf.
You can see the collision right there. And here comes Francis on the inside.
Back was a long ways away. I just didn't look at it, didn't focus on it.
As Francis working to the outside of Baldwin.
4th of July weekend, Sarasota. There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Here comes Aslar. Oh! Look at this battle for first right now.
Oh!
Baldwin on the outside. Baldwin moves into first place. Francis and Baldwin both side by side. Brian Baldwin will take the win.
Welcome to the Windy City for the 4th round of the AquaX Pro Enduro Tour.
Brian Baldwin going to be to the... Oh, Francis able to get by. Francis able to work to the inside right here. Francis will come through the checkered flag in first place.
So after all that, this is how the standings look. In 6th place, it's Indonesian superstar Aero Aswar. In 5th place, it's Christian Daly. Rookie pro Chris Saxon in 4th. Then this is where the real battle is, the top 3. In 3rd, it's two-time and current AquaX champ, the legend that is Chris McLuggage on 165 points. Brian Baldwin in 2nd on 191. Then at the top of the pile, Eric Francis on 230 points. With 4 races to go and 100 points up for grabs, any one of the top 3 could take the title.
You know, to bring home this championship, I need a little luck, and I just need to be on top of my game. And you know, we have the ski to beat without a doubt. So you know, just hammer down.
Eric's got a great points lead. Brian's, I think, you know, a few points. I'm not sure how many points ahead of me. But at the same time, like I said, I want to come back safe to my family. And if I can win the championship some way miraculously, that'd be incredible. But really, my target is getting that, you know, at least 2nd place.
To secure the championship, we just need some smart riding, 4 good motos, and don't have any mechanical faults, and just, you know, hopefully everything goes our way, but I'm feeling confident we got it what it takes.
So I'm here with Mr. Jet Ski and our race commentator, Mikey Young. Now this is a big weekend. What do our top 3 riders have to do to get the championship?
Well, your top rider right now has a 39-point lead. That's Eric Francis. Eric needs to ride smart. He needs to ride safe. second place, Brian Baldwin, he needs a little bit of help, but he's still got a mathematical possibility, and so does Chris McCluggage, who is in third. Chris concentrating a little bit more this year on family and his new store, Broward Motorsports in Tequesta, Florida. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Both of those riders have an outside chance, but Eric's going to have to do something with an engine fail or come off the boat and not be able to finish.
That's right. Now, what do you think the final result will be this weekend?
Well, the final result, Eric Francis has been riding very confident, and I'll tell you, I've got to hand it to the kid. I think he's going to do it this year. He was our winner in 2014. I think he's going to get his second championship this year.
The riders are getting ready for race 1. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Let's head over to Mikey.
Hey, thanks, Deanna. Let's take a look at our course conditions today. Humidity about 67%, wind speed about 10 miles per hour, water temp about 27 degrees Celsius. Joining me for the call today, we have Ashley Spinagle.
Hey, Mikey, it's great to be here today. I'm so excited for the Fort Lauderdale race, the last race of the season. And as you can see, the conditions have definitely chopped up for how it's been for the rest of the season. This means wintertime. The big waves are coming, and it's going to be rough for the boys today.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric Francis comes into the points here with a 39-point lead over the rest of the field. As we take a look at our course guide, we're looking at about 1.25 miles to 1.5 miles, 8 different buoys out there that they're going to have to contend with.
Yes, and it looks like here in the front, we're going to have the Ripet Energy Fuel chicane. It's going to show some action out there.
Well, speaking of action, looks like we are ready to get underway as the green flag gets ready to drop. There we go. We are dropped off and away as we go on board with Brian Baldwin, and you can tell it is rough out there.
It is definitely rough. And Baldwin, you can tell by his tennis ball gloves, as you can see as he comes around throughout the race. A lot of boats out there popping out of the water a good bit.
Well, I'll tell you, we're on board right now with Chris McCluggage, and flanked to Chris's left, I believe we have our English rider, Phil Pope, out of the United Kingdom.
It's great to see him out here, and it definitely looks like he is in the lead here. See if he can hold it on.
Yeah, Phil has won the AquaX champion over there in the United Kingdom, and definitely intends to be a contender here this weekend. As we get ready to head into turn number 1, let's go on board with Eric Francis.
Francis looking good so far. You can recognize Francis with his all white and his nice red gloves.
And boy, I'll tell you, it is nothing but pump wash there in turn number 1 as you take a look through the goggles there of Eric Francis. Looks like he's got McCluggage just in front of him. Phil Pope ends up with the hole shot. Baldwin comes out of the pump wash in 3rd place.
Yeah, Pope has got a significant lead here. Great seeing him out there. He's had a little struggle.
Well, let's again take a look at Eric Francis. Goes up in the air and comes down violently on the Yamaha GP 1800.
Wow, that's rough.
Let's go back out to your leaders as we get ready to head down the back straightaway, and it is the UK Hope, Phil Pope. And Pope coming off of his boat. Wow.
Oh, that definitely hurt.
Yeah, it looked like he kissed the bars as McCluggage darts out into the lead, and we take a look there as Phil swims back to his boat. Let's take a look at it in slow-mo, Ashley.
And he catches some air. G-forces hit. Oh, man, he's going to feel that later on today and tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to need some leave after that, as you see McCluggage able to get by. So that'll put Mac out in front, followed by Baldwin and Eric Francis, your top 3, as we take a look at them there at the northwest side of our track.
We've got McCluggage here out in front, and he's got some nice clean water in front of him. As clean as it can get. You can definitely see the swells rolling in.
Yeah, you can see exactly where they're heading toward that Ripet Energy Fuel chicane, getting ready to come down into that front straightaway. And it's cool here to take a look at the line that McCluggage has taken. He's taken a line coming way over to the beach, and you can see Baldwin hugging that buoy pretty tight.
Yes, he does. Most of the riders will hug tight to the buoy. McCluggage is a phenomenal rider to watch. He will come into where you maybe have even an inch of water, but he knows how far he can push it, and he gets the cleanest water possible, and he can speed right through way quicker than everybody else.
Well, you can see right there where they made that turn coming off the front straightaway. It's right there in a break, and we expect to see a lot of action there today.
Absolutely. And right now I believe we have a low tide, so as the waves come in throughout the day, it's going to get a little rougher.
And taking a look at Chris McCluggage, your race leader right now. Baldwin still in that 2nd place position, and Baldwin and McCluggage both with an outside chance to still take the overall title.
Yeah, it's anyone's game at this point.
Again, Francis coming in with a 39-point advantage. Again, 100 points to be given away this weekend. We've got 4 different races, and if anybody can do it, it's that guy right there, Brian Baldwin, who has the #1 on the back of his jacket for winning that World Championship in 2017.
Yes, he does. And you notice just there now he adjusted his hand. Lanyard holds onto the wrist, so if you get caught up in that, a lot of guys you'll see accidentally pull their lanyard, and that can definitely kill your lead.
You can see him heading down the side straightaway right now. And looks like somebody's having some trouble out there. And it's boat number 105, our top rookie so far this season, Christian Daly.
Oh, that's really tough to see. I believe he was on a brand new boat too.
Well, yeah, Daly sponsored by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. As we take a look at Sophie Francis, and she has been a warrior in the rookie class this year as well.
She is a monster. She has been working her way up the leaderboard every single race. And I believe she's battling right now with Phil Pope coming into the turn here to the left.
Yeah, Phil Pope, after taking a swim, rebooted and trying to get back up there into the game. And I believe that is your battle for 6th, 7th place right around there.
He's definitely a seasoned rider. You know, I've only raced for about 4 or 5 years. I would definitely be a little timid at this point. So it's awesome to see him just pulling the throttle and letting it go.
Well, again, we're going to slow things down here as McCluggage able to put Rededick a lap down. As you can see McCluggage squaring up, getting ready to come into that front straightaway.
And that was definitely a great camaraderie move on Rededick's part. A lot of people don't know that he is paraplegic, so he does not have full use of his legs. So it's pretty phenomenal that he's out here with the pros.
Let's take a look back. Eric Francis, you know, I asked him yesterday during the press conference, was he riding to win or going to ride safe? He said he was riding to win, but he's looking a little safe out there right now.
Yes, he definitely does not look like his normal hungry, angry, I'm going to chase everyone down self. He knows he's won the overall championship for the year, so I believe maybe his heart's not completely in it, but he still has this weekend's podium he has to worry about.
Well, yeah, he's still got to make sure that he finishes all of these races. Again, look at that. Big mistake there. Comes out of the water, lands sideways, and hoop-de-doos around, and he's back on the throttle. But he's lucky he didn't get tossed off of that one.
Wow, yeah, definitely. That most people would have flown off in that situation. He's a very, very conditioned, strong rider.
You could see how violent that hit was right there.
Yeah, I think I may have broken my tailbone or something like that.
Well, let's take a look again here at Francis and that sideways landing, and able to hold on to it. And I'll tell you, that just just goes to show how much strength this youngster has.
Yes, he's been training all season. I've never seen him riding so well. He's been training with Sophie Francis. And here we have Arminio Iantasca, 94, riding on Sea-Doo. And he's had unfortunate luck all season with riders wrecking into him. And I believe he's on a brand new ski just for this race.
Yeah, Arminio Iantasca been plagued with problems, and looks like he could have another problem.
Oh.
What a tough break, man. This kid can't get a break here in 2018.
I'm good friends with him. Maybe it's the commentator curse. Maybe I shouldn't talk about him anymore.
Well, I'm sure that he don't mind that, as Chris Saxon able to get past him safely. Let's go back out to your leader, Chris McCluggage. And McCluggage been riding flawless so far here in race number 1.
Yes, McCluggage has been charging. He's been doing phenomenal all season, but he definitely is showing his power, and he probably has been training a little harder for this last race.
Yeah, Matt coming into this weekend, 3rd place in the points. Had a lot on his table this year, having a 3rd child and open up that new Broward Motorsports store in Tequesta.
Yeah, you can't possibly be busy at all.
Nah, not at all. Speaking of busy, getting busy right now is boat number 1, Brian Baldwin, and he's got a pole in the water. He's going to try to reel in your leader, but McCluggage has a sizable lead right now.
Yeah, and we see Baldwin. He's coming out to the far side, heading out into the course. Looks like he may be slowing down a little bit here, though.
Yeah, not quite sure what the issue is. Yeah, he's coming off his boat. Look, that boat is sinking.
That is definitely going down, and I have personal experience with that. Those boats will go down in 2 to 3 minutes, believe it or not.
Wow.
Once you're down, you're down. So he's definitely out of this one.
So unfortunately for Baldwin, having a Titanic moment right there.
And we're in saltwater, so saltwater corrodes like crazy inside of the electronics.
Well, that's a tough break for him because, again, he did have an outside shot mathematically at taking the points away from Francis. Here comes McCluggage. Oh!
Wow.
Look at this, McCluggage.
That's uncharacteristic.
Yeah, McCluggage coming off of his boat, kissing that mega buoy right there. And again, we take a look at it and you're looking through the goggles right now of Eric Francis. Francis coming over to save McCluggage as the marshals getting there with a yellow flag, but that was a very dangerous area. And boy, that was a cool teammate move right there.
Yes, Mikey, that was definitely huge camaraderie. These guys are usually, yes, they have a lot of camaraderie. They are more competitive, though, than having camaraderie. So that was a phenomenal move on Francis's part.
Boy, and I'll tell you, you can hear the applause here on the beach. Great job there by Eric Francis. And again, you take a look at this on the replay. And McCluggage looked like he was setting up to pass Edworthy, and he looked to be okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have this buoy set up in the surf, they can move 3 to 5 feet either which way, either away or towards you. And unfortunately, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, some days you're the bug and some days you're the windshield. Looked like McCluggage was the bug there.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Again, we'll take a look at that replay. McCluggage tries to dive to the inside of Edworthy and just gets a little too much air, comes off to the side. But, hey, luckily he had a teammate there to scoop him up.
Yes, and he didn't have any traffic right behind him to run him right over.
So again, taking a look at the beautiful Fort Lauderdale skyline as the white flag flies here at the Rip It Energy Fuel Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix.
If you see this white flag come out, you are thrilled to death. Thank God the race is almost over with.
And right now it looks like here comes Francis and McCluggage. McCluggage right there behind Francis. Francis with the white helmet. And Francis currently in second place, but McCluggage had lapped all the way up to him, and it looks like he may get past him. Look at this, McCluggage turning on the heat with one buoy left to negotiate.
Yeah, he appreciated the camaraderie, but he's like, no, I'm winning. I'm sorry. I need those points.
And there we go. The checkered flag comes out. There is your race finish. It's going to be McCluggage and Francis. Let's take a look again through the goggles of Francis if he knew that McCluggage was even coming. And you can see McCluggage able to get by on that left-hand side. Well, look at the Broward Motorsports teammates as they come over to congratulate each other on being masters of the universe. Let's take a look at the results. It was McCluggage in first, Francis in second, Klippenstein in third, Saxon in fourth, Eric Lagopoulos in fifth, and Jay Edworthy rounded out your top 6.
Chris came by me, I saw him going, he was pushing, and it looked like him and a lap rider got tangled up, and I was like, well, there's no one near me, so I mean, might as well scoop him up. I'm going to be there before the course marshal, and he needs the points more than I do, so that wouldn't help him out.
Yeah, he came to my rescue, and it was in a tight spot where I fell off, and it was really dangerous. A lot of people don't see you there. Unfortunate for me, I was in the right place at the wrong time, right time, however you want to call it, but it was really thankful that he picked me up.
So a great win for the Mac Attack in race 1. Join us after the break for race 2. Welcome back to the Rip It Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix and a great win for the Mac Attack with a little help from his friend Eric Francis.
Canada.
Panama.
Great Britain.
Puerto Rico. China.
What made you want to come all the way over here to the U.S. and race here in America?
I want to learn some new skills and how to drive the jet ski and to challenge it to myself.
And then you come here, there's big waves.
Yes, it's the huge view. It's very, very difficult for myself.
And so out of all the series, you chose to come race with P1 Aquacross. So why choose this series?
因为我平时比的都是场地赛，很小。
When he was raced before, it's always the circuit, the closed course. So it's very different from what he's racing from here. And here they have only few buoys, but it has long straight ways for the fast speed on the waves, and it's very excited to him.
A real world championship. And now it's time for race 2.
Hey, thanks, Deanna. After race number 1, McCluggage gaining 25 points on Baldwin, who DNF'd, and that has huge implications for the overall.
Yeah, and here we are at the start line. We're on board with McCluggage, and the flag is dropped.
Well, let's see if McCluggage can back up that first race. Looked very stellar as we take a look here at the entire field. 27 racers out there this weekend, and that's got to be tough. You're going side by side into one turn, 70+ mile an hour with no brakes.
No, and it looks like the conditions are just as bad, if not worse, but at least the sunshine's come out.
Yeah, you can take a look. Our wind speed about 10 miles per hour, still a 67% humidity rate here, which is actually very good for South Florida this time of year.
Yeah, the boats are probably running stellar right now. These guys are doing really top speeds. The difference between amateur and pro is about another 10 miles per hour. These guys on flat water can run upwards of 80 miles an hour. So you can imagine it is nutty out there.
Yeah, and some of the coolest temperatures we've seen here in South Florida are going to make them boats run even better. You see McCluggage right now looking to grab that hole shot as they circle around turn number 1.
A lot of whitewash as these guys try to negotiate, trying to find some clean water.
You know, it's got to be tough again, starting side by side with 26 of your best friends, and that surf acting up the way it is. Looks like Phil Pope out there toward the front. He's battling with Eric Francis. McCluggage with the hole shot. But look at this battle for second place, Ashley.
Wow, I'm impressed. These guys are both catching tons of air, and I'm impressed with Phil Pope hanging on. You know, that's pretty intimidating after his tumble of the first race.
We know a lot of them lakes they have over there in the United Kingdom are kind of like washing machines, so he's used to riding in the rough stuff.
Yes, he is, definitely. So the conditions we see out here, you can tell there's a little bit of swell plus washing machine. So there's a lot of unpredictability for these guys out here today.
You know, and you've got to have a lot of respect for that rider right beside of you, especially in these surf conditions. You're side by side coming in and out of the water. Huge respect there between Francis and Pope. Francis ends up into that second place position, and you can see him airing it out on the north section of the track.
Definitely, these guys are looking good. You know, they look like they're able to handle the unpredictability of the water. The machines are not, taking crazy turns on them without them being able to control it. They're looking strong, and they're coming into the front chicane here.
Yeah, the Rip It Energy Fuel front chicane, getting ready to drop into that front straightaway. McCluggage, again, looks like he's going to take a very wide line coming in close to the beach. You can see how shallow he is, whereas Francis tries to square it off a little bit, as does Pope.
Yeah, if you come in through and you kind of catch the front of a wave as it's right before it crests, it brings beautiful, smooth water. You can pick up so much speed. McCluggage is awesome at doing that.
Well, we talked about our top 3, but let's go on board with number 4 right now. Brian Baldwin, last year's world champ, still had an outside shot coming into this weekend, but that DNF really hurt him in race number 1 for the overall points title.
Yeah, it definitely hurt him, but now he's on a new boat, a new fresh boat, so maybe he's got a little extra speed under the seat.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Riva Racing and Jesus really been helping him out with that speed all season long, and this weekend they're helping out Phil Pope, boat number 200, who we've seen on the podium on that last one as well.
Yeah, we see a little bit of action here coming into the far corner. There's a lot of bobbling around.
Taking a look at your race leader, Chris McCluggage. Again, trying to go wire to wire here, and again, he knew what he needed to do. He needed to come in, win all 4. Looks like it's going to be just outside that, with Francis clinching coming into this race right here. However, I'm sure McCluggage would like to go out of the 2018 season with a win, being the 2016 and 17 overall champion.
Yes, he's extremely competitive, and he is not happy unless he brings home the number 1. Whoa, yeah, I see a little bit of water splash there. It looks like someone may have hit a little hole.
Yeah, and it looks like Baldwin was able to get past Phil Pope, so Baldwin has now moved up into 3rd place. You got Mack out front, Francis in 2nd, Baldwin in 3rd. Uh-oh, things are starting to heat up here in race number 2.
Here we are coming into the front again, and McCluggage is still looking pretty damn strong.
Yeah, McCluggage, this kid is something else. You know, we've talked about him time and time again, being one of the best surf riders in the history of personal watercraft racing, and you can just see how smooth that he is.
Wow, and it's hard to tell from this point of view, but going out to that buoy, you can see these guys popping up out of the water, hitting these waves. You've got to hit them straight on, or you are coming straight off.
Francis doing a great job there, riding very smart, very safe, in 2nd place position. 1st place is his teammate. You got to wonder, is he protecting his teammate out there?
Well, they look like they've... This season, definitely, points-wise, Francis knows he's on top, and actually, if he lets McCluggage in front a little bit and not Baldwin, it may help him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You still got that big battle for 2nd place for overall between Baldwin and McCluggage. McCluggage right now poised to possibly win an overall weekend title, whereas Baldwin is playing the spoiler.
Yeah, so Baldwin is fighting for every chance he's got here.
Yeah, I'm sure that he'd still like to take home that number 2 plate for the 2018 season. And you take a look right now. Big battle going on for first place between McCluggage and Francis, and that is Francis on the inside, McCluggage on the outside. Francis going to take the lead away from his teammate.
Wow, he's doing a great job keeping his ski hooked up. That is so paramount in these conditions. You let loose the water, you dramatically lose speed. So Francis is finding good, clean water to keep the pump running fast and hard.
Yeah, great shot there from the overhead cam. You can see Baldwin still back there in the third place, but they're side by side as they head into that turn up the northeast side of the track and back into the P1 Aquacross course. And look here, McCluggage making another bid for it.
Yeah, it looks like he may be pulling on him. Oh, but there goes McCluggage getting a lot of air, and there it goes Francis again, keeping hooked up and passing him.
I'll tell you what, that's what you need to do. You need to stay hooked up. The pumps aren't going anywhere when they are out of the water, as you see him racing down the front straightaway, and Francis trying to get a gauge on where McCluggage is as they get ready to come by our start-finish line again. And Francis took a look around, didn't see McCluggage, and you got to wonder if he's feeling the pressure right now from the goat.
Oh, wow. That definitely hurt his noggin a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like it took his visor and split it in half. He still got Francis out in front, followed by McCluggage and Baldwin. But you got to wonder if Francis ain't a little bit shaken up right there. And here comes the goat again, charging.
Yeah, Francis is going to do everything he can if he can think straight at the moment. He typically does not run a visor for situations like that. I haven't had an opportunity to speak to him why he's running a visor this weekend. He'll probably not wear one again in the next race.
I'll tell you what, that's right. Learn your lesson. And great overhead shot again there by our Green Flight TV crew. And you can see McCluggage trying to get position. And he'll go a little bit wide here. Again, we were talking about him going into the shoreline, using a different line than every other racer here in Aquacross.
Yeah, it is a little rough on your pump when you go into those shallows like that. You bring in a lot of sand and you wear out the wear ring. However, when you have a whole team behind you, they can replace something like that and you won't lose any speed.
Boy, and he's got a great team behind him this season. Broward Motorsports currently in first place overall in the points, with Eric Francis being the points leader. Again, coming into the weekend and poised to take home the 2018 P1 Aquacross Championship.
So, and if you're a boater, you can definitely see there's some white caps out there for sure. So that's some rough water to be going through. Even in these conditions, they're probably pulling 60, 70 miles an hour. So you can imagine going across the top of these waves is pretty rough on these guys.
Yeah, again, about 3 wide going into that turn down there on the southwest side of the track. And you can see him racing down the back straightaway. A little bit of lap traffic there to contend with, as we got just over 13 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and every so often they look like they're doing a little pogo stick jumping. What you can't really tell and what would seem intuitive, you would think the back straightaway would be smoother with it getting a little deeper water, but actually it is usually the roughest conditions out far back.
Again, you can see McCluggage now trying to work to the inside of Francis. That is your battle for first place again. And what a battle that has been between the two Broward teammates. And McCluggage going to have position as they come into this turn. Gets up in the air as the marshals watch on from the inside, and boy, I'll tell you what, I bet that's the best seat in the house.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they've all had a lot of near run-ins.
And McCluggage now able to take over the lead from his teammate Francis. Francis got up in the air, McCluggage stayed hooked up, and it's hasta la bye-bye. Chris takes a look behind him, sees where his teammate's at, and right now looking at a fairly comfortable lead with about a 2-second advantage over second place.
Yeah, as long as he can hang on to it, pay attention to what he's doing, watch the watercraft, yeah, he's definitely got it. He looks good.
Well, again, coming into this one after that first race, Brian Baldwin came in with 191 points. McCluggage, after gaining 25 points to that 165-point total, has 190 points. So McCluggage could really use these extra 5 points for his overall bid for second place.
You see these swells coming in through here. The watercraft, they're only about 11 feet long. And they weigh a little less than 1,000 pounds. So these waves are very, very, they take a lot of toll on the watercraft. They shift you every which way despite what you're trying to do. So these guys are muscling through. They're very experienced.
And we've heard some rumors in the pits about the delamination program that's going on out there this weekend. And look at this. It looks like Baldwin now able to get past Francis, and you got to wonder if something happened to Francis out
Yeah,
there.
Francis definitely is not looking like himself. He kind of looks like he's going for a Sunday drive. He may be having some issues with his watercraft.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to do on a Saturday as Baldwin advances up into second place. You still got McCluggage out in front, and Francis looks like he's working his way backwards instead of forward, so he must have some issues out there.
Looks like we've got some lap traffic here. That looked like we have Baldwin. Did Baldwin take a pull on McCluggage there?
Yeah, it looked like Baldwin snuck through on the outside. McCluggage caught up with them lappers on the inside as they went around that turn. So Brian Baldwin going from third to first in just about a lap and a half, Ashley.
And that's the difference between the pro and amateur class, is definitely the strategic riding and watching for your lap traffic and knowing who your lap traffic is.
Right, got to know about how much time is on that clock. You see a lot of these racers, they'll race hard for the first 15 minutes and hope that they have a good enough lead to get through the last 15. And then there's the other ones that wait for that last 5 or 10 minutes and just give it all they got. And Baldwin is one of them guys that he's 110% all the time.
Yes, he is. I don't know where he pulls it out of, but he is amazing to watch.
Well, taking a look at the stars and bars driven by Brian Baldwin right now. Looked like he might have hit his helmet, lost his lanyard.
Oh, and there goes McCluggage.
Oh, my goodness. And there goes Air McCluggage on a flight out of Lauderdale.
Oh, it looks like Pope may be trying to catch up to him, too.
Take a look at this in slow-mo as Baldwin loses his lanyard right there. Looks down and look out. Here comes flight number 46 out of Fort Lauderdale. Chris McCluggage going over the top.
Oh, I'm sure he loved that.
Well, McCluggage also was able to pull a couple more riders through with him. I believe one of those riders was Phil Pope as the white flag comes out. So Pope looking for a podium finish here as well on boat number 200.
And it was pretty funny to see Baldwin actually pull his lanyard, because McCluggage in the past has been known to be one of those to pull his lanyard out over and over and over. So it's good to see he's learned not to do that.
Well, again, not too much time left to go in this one as McCluggage comes down the front straightaway one final time. Out comes the checkered flag, and the GOAT has done it again here in Fort Lauderdale.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Well, let's take a look at our final results here from race number 2. McCluggage in front, Francis in second, Pope in third. Baldwin was in second, got penalized 2, so he's down in fourth. Saxon and Klippenstein round out your top 6.
I really feel good. The Monster Energy Broward Motorsports Yamaha built by Dean ran great that moto, the first moto, the second moto, and we have 2 more tomorrow, so hopefully we can pull it off tomorrow.
Another great result for Chris McCluggage. Join us after the break for more racing. Welcome back to the Rip It Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix. Now all Aquacross weekends are full on action, and this week is no exception. With our Am Enduros and our Pro Sprint stand-ups, here's Mikey.
Hey, thanks, Deanna. Well, the final race of 2018 here for the Amateur Enduro, Ashley.
We have 47 riders on the line. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these conditions were not nice to a lot of these amateur racers, and especially to our 15 rookies.
Oh, no, and here we got George Holmquist.
Yeah, Holmquist actually picking up his first race win of 2018.
There's a lot of chop, and a lot of rough, and a lot of skis out there.
Well, I'll tell you, Daniel Fiallo really did what he had to do. He rose above. He knew what the challenge was. Dave Davidson came in with the points lead out of Canada. But when the jet spray cleared, again, it would be Daniel Fiallo standing at the top.
It's awesome to see 7 riders come out from China this year.
You know, besides Fiallo, congratulations to our podium, which include Justin Taylor and Dean Harrison. It's a champagne celebration.
Oh, it's so fun to see.
Well, in addition to our pro and our amateur enduro, we also have 2 sprint classes that will be featured here this weekend, Ashley.
It's a little different for these guys. They're not used to endurance racing. 15 minutes plus a lap out into the surf.
And different types of boats here for these personal watercraft races. A much shorter course, and you're looking at Yamaha Blasters. You're looking at Sea-Doo HXs, your Sparks, your Sports. And, of course, in the ski class, you're looking at your Kawasaki SXRs.
Conditions are rough for these guys.
However, I'll tell you, Fort McMurray, Canada's Mike Klippenstein would tone down the waves here in South Florida. However, the Chinese team wouldn't have as well a luck. Ashley?
And it looks like our Chinese rider is having some tough challenge round, and a yellow flag out again.
And that's unfortunate for Yue Shangbo. However, able to get that boat back out there. Let's go to the podium for a champagne celebration.
So 2 more pro enduro races to go. Francis has already claimed the title, but who will take second place? Let's find out.
All right, thanks, Deanna. Here we go. Start of race number 3. And Ashley, McCluggage and Baldwin right there knotted up in points coming into this one for the second overall.
Yes, this should be interesting to see. The conditions are a little smoother today on day number 2 in Moto 3, coming around the chicane.
Yeah, it looked like Chris McCluggage followed by Brian Baldwin, and them two battling it out, as are these two. You got Phil Pope on the inside, but here comes the warrior, Sophie Francis.
Wow, look at her go. Wow, she must have got a great hole shot.
Oh, and look at this. Phil Pope parks it in the corner, and Francis moves ahead. Meanwhile, her husband, her counterpart, is taking the goggles off, and he's going to call it an early day.
Oh, he must have gone for a swim.
And look at this battle right now shaping up. This is your battle for third place, looking through the lenses of Sophie Francis. That is Christian Daly flanked to her left, and what a battle.
This is intense. Oh, we have Baldwin coming through the front, and out comes the checkered flag.
Yeah, checkered flag coming out for Brian Baldwin. Great job there for the Riva Racing pilot. He's retiring the goggles, but I'll tell you the story. Sophie Francis getting her best finish of the year in 4th place, being congratulated by Christian.
Definitely his best finish of the year. I've been working hard for it, all season. I've been stepping up and up. I was out there, I was giving it my all.
Well, let's take a look how things shook out there in race number 3. Brian Baldwin sat atop the podium there, grabbing 25 points. Mack in 2nd, Clipper in 3rd, Francis in 4th, D-Mac in 5th, and Christian Daly in 6th.
It was two bulls going at it. Literally, we were going at it, and I wanted it, he wanted it, and we just fought it out. And for that moto, I took the win.
What an amazing race between Baldwin and McCluggage. We now have just 2 points on the line. Stay with us for the final race of the season. Welcome back to the Rip It Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix, and this is it, the final race of the season. Over to you, Mikey.
Hey, thanks, Deanna. Ashley, here we go, the final race of 2018.
Thanks, Mikey. Yeah, here we are on the 4th race and the final of the season.
Well, the green flag is dropped, and we are off and away. Brian Baldwin, who took a win there in race number 3, is charging hard towards that first turn.
Conditions are looking similar to the 3rd moto.
Yeah, I tell you, things really haven't picked up here this afternoon like we thought they would. Eric Francis trying to grab a hole shot here, but he's got a lot of company, again, as they head into turn number 1.
As they head into turn number 1, I believe Eric Francis had a DNF in the last race. We have a couple of boat changes as these guys come into the first turn.
And I'll tell you, it is nothing but jet spray there in the first turn. We're taking a look at the goat there, Chris McCluggage. McCluggage poised to take an overall victory here if he can keep that Broward Motorsports boat out in the front.
These boys still look like they're catching some air, but McCluggage is pulling away from his competition.
And you can take a look exactly where they are out on the course there, the far southeast side, making the turn, coming back in to this very tough P1 Aquacross course, which has proved to be very tough on these GP 1800s this weekend.
Here we see Brian Baldwin has switched boats onto Phil Pope's number 200.
Yeah, this is your battle for the lead right now, and you can see Baldwin working to the inside on McCluggage on some OPP, some other people's personal watercraft, and it looks like that watercraft is working out for her.
They've got a great battle going here. And Mikey, it looks like they're having difficulty getting some good water under them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, things starting to chop up a little bit this afternoon, and you got to keep that pump hooked up if you're moving forward.
And as they're coming towards the front here, oh, look, we have a safety marshal out with the yellow flag. Looks like we may have a boat down.
Yeah, and I think that boat down might be Sophie Francis. Look at that. Wow, tough break for Sophie Francis, who had such a good weekend going.
It looked like only half the ski was out of the water. She may have been sinking.
Well, going back out to your leader right now with about a 2-second lead. That's the gap between first and second. McCluggage and Baldwin battling it out as they get ready to head off the front straightaway. You got Eric Francis still back there in third, though.
He is still battling it out, even though he knows he's got the championship wrapped up. He doesn't care. He's out to race today.
Yeah, Francis, he's one of those guys, and unfortunately his dejected wife walking in on the beach right now, and she's got to be kind of beside herself. What a tough break, and you can see she's explaining herself down there to our good friend Jonathan Dent.
Oh, it looks like she may have had a crash. I'm heartbroken for her. She has been doing so amazing this season, and she was almost all the way to the top this season.
Well, just a little bit of bittersweet stuff going on here this weekend in Fort Lauderdale, but not up toward the front of the pack. Right now, Riva Racing pilot Brian Baldwin is out for redemption, and he's got to do it on some borrowed property, and that's got to be tough too, not being on your own boat and going against the goat out there.
The goat's looking great. He's still standing. The water's still looking pretty choppy out there, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has really tamed the seas here of Fort Lauderdale. As we take a look at Baldwin, Baldwin now starting to work to the inside. It looks like he's going to be pressuring McCluggage.
Oh, and this is tough. You know, right where they are, the wash is right in your face. Baldwin can't see anything right now. But he is, like he says, a bull in a china shop. He'll just plow right through. He doesn't care. He grabs onto the throttle and goes.
Well, you still got Francis back there in the third place. And here comes Baldwin. Baldwin, again, going to be working to the inside. And again, that boat right there borrowed from Phil Pope and Riva Motorsports.
Ooh, and they're definitely getting close. And with the chop out there, anything can happen. One on top of each other. You could see McCluggage, he could feel the heat. He was taking a look behind him, and very similar to motocross, when they go into these turns here, they show him a keel instead of a wheel. Yeah, and these guys are very, very close in the point standing, so anything can happen.
Again, Baldwin trying to keep her straight, and you can, as we go on board with Brian Baldwin, you can see just how rough it is out there, just jerking his body all around like a rag doll.
Yeah, and these guys, they've done 4 races all weekend long, so they are completely exhausted. The chop conditions are brutal on the machines and their bodies.
Yeah, you got to know that they were tired coming into this 4th and final moto. But right now, I think it's all about bragging rights. You know, McCluggage right now pretty much poised to win the overall for the weekend, but I think Brian Baldwin wants to go out with a statement.
Yes, yes, and here we've got Christian Daly, young gun, coming through here in the chicane. He's been doing phenomenal.
And Daly, another one of those racers that lost a boat this weekend. He's actually out there on Enrique Chia's amateur boat.
So he's not set up for the pro class, so he's down a few miles per hour. However, that may help you in some rough conditions. He won't wear you out quite as quickly.
As we take a look again, going back out to boat number 200, that is, again, Brian Baldwin. And Baldwin looking to make that pass on that lapper right there. Still looking very strong out there. Brian Baldwin out of Denver, North Carolina, where he owns Champion Power Sports. And you can see the stars and bars as he works his way down the back straightaway, wearing that number 1 on the back of his jersey because of his World Championship bid in Key West, Florida, just last season. And again, time starting to tick away here in the final race of 2018.
Here we are on board with Chris McCluggage, and it looks like the sun is getting ready to set on the day. These guys are getting close to the finish.
And McCluggage takes a look around, trying to figure out where exactly that 3rd place rider is. However, let's go back out to our race leader, Brian Baldwin. Baldwin, who has his whole family in attendance here, knows that he has a great shot for the 2nd place overall for the tour. Doesn't really have a shot for the weekend. However, he has been down here to make a statement for him and the Riva Racing family that he races for.
Usually you have a lot of battling side by side. We saw a little bit of that. These guys have been stretched out quite a bit. So it might be a little bit of fatigue.
Well, I would say a lot of fatigue. After 30 minutes times 4, the checkered flag's going to come out. And Brian Baldwin going to take the final race win here of 2018. But it looks like it's going to be Chris McCluggage passing the finish line in 1st place for the weekend. And for the season, boat number 911, Eric Francis, will take the overall. As we take a look through the lenses there of Chris McCluggage, and I'm sure he'll be glad to be standing atop the podium tonight.
It's great to see these guys all finish the races all in one piece, skis in one piece. It's been a great season.
As the checkered flag flies, special thanks to BP Race Fuels. And congratulations goes out to our weekend winner, Chris McCluggage. Of course, the GOAT coming in, one final lap here, and actually he's done amazing all season long.
And that is why they call him the GOAT, greatest of all time.
I'll tell you, it's been a great weekend here at the Rip It Energy Fuel Fort Lauderdale Grand Prix. And here comes another guy that's had a great season, Christian Daly, our Rookie of the Year. Christian making his sponsors proud this year at Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Now let's take a look at the Mac Attack, Chris McCluggage. He's going out with a bang here in 2018. I'm sure we'll see him back in 2019. Results from the fourth race, Francis up top, Daly in second with his best finish, Baldwin in third, McCluggage in fourth, D-Mac in fifth, and White Klippenstein in sixth.
You know, I finished third overall in the championship, but, you know, second, third, it doesn't matter to me. First is what really matters out there, and, you know, I couldn't do that this weekend, but I was able to get the first overall for the weekend, so that was great.
Well, congratulations to Eric Francis, who comes out the 2018 P1 Aquacross champion. In second place, it was Brian Baldwin, followed by Chris McCluggage, Chris Saxon in fourth, Christian Daly in fifth, and rounding out your top six was D-Mac.
Wrapping it up early on the, you know, we did it on Moto 2, wrapped up the championship, so I was really excited about that. I mean, it's not as exciting as winning on the last Moto battling for it, but it was still, you know, it's still an amazing feeling, glad to be on top, and I mean, this weekend has been very memorable, we'll say that.
So another great weekend of racing here in Fort Lauderdale. McCluggage took the weekend, but it was the consistency of the Eagle Eric Francis all season long that secured his title as the 2018 Aquacross champion. That's it for this time. We'll see you next year.